Hello. Now, as I had said in the previous video that we'll be discussing with instantaneous speed and velocity and also instantaneous acceleration. Now, what do you mean by this term instantaneous? Let us focus on the word instant. Now, what do you mean by that? It means a particular moment. An instant of time means a particular moment of time, right? So, if a body is moving from point A to point B, as indicated by the arrow, so from the A to B, right, and I have certain points. It has velocity v1, v2, v3, v4. Yes, so these are the velocities possessed by it, and the timings being t1, t2, t3, t4. These are the instants of time. Okay, so at t1 it is having the velocity v1, at t2 it is having the velocity v2, at t3 it is having the velocity v3, and t4 it is having the velocity v4. So that is what I have written. At these instants of time it has these velocities. So they are instantaneous velocities or instantaneous speeds. If the object travels at a constant speed, then at all instants of time we will have the same speed. That is, v1 will be equal to v2, will be equal to v3, will be equal to v4, because the speed is constant. So it depends. Okay, so instantaneous speed can be the same, can be different. So usually while we move in a motor vehicle, okay, we have the speedometer. You must have seen that, so which tells us about the speed at any instant of time we want to know. So we see the speedometer and we just see the speed in which we are moving in that vehicle. So the speedometer helps there. Okay, so because we are in that vehicle, but how can an observer who is outside that moving frame, we have moving frame means the motor vehicle, we had discussed about frames earlier. So who is outside that frame, who is just standing in the road, be able to calculate this instantaneous speed of a vehicle moving? Okay, can anyone do that? Because he cannot see the speedometer, how will he know? Okay, so how can an observer make any calculation? It is important to make calculations if we, for certain cases. So he can do that mathematically. Now how can he do that mathematically? So introducing to you mathematical differentiation or derivative. So we will get into the mathematics of it first, then we'll moving back to the physics of it. So simple approach to understand derivatives is that we consider any two variables or quantities or functions, mostly as they are called. We'll consider two quantities, that is x and y. Here I take x to be independent and y to be dependent. It basically means that the value of x, okay, it can change independently. It does not depend on anything. But the value of y, okay, it changes. It is dependent. So it is depending on the change in the value of x. Okay, so how x is changing, depending on that y will change. So the change in the value of x, however, in whatever way x changes, y will change accordingly. So I'll give you a simple example. Let us say that y is equal to square of x or x square, and if I put a value for x, suppose let us say it is 5, x is equal to 5, so y is equal to square of 5, that is 25. Now if x changes from 5 to 6, that is, it increases by a value 1, means 5 plus 1 obviously is equal to 6. Okay, so if the value of x now changes, now what, how will the value of y change? Y will now become equal to square of 6, that is 36. So as we can see, any change in the value of x is also changing the value of y, isn't it? So if x increases by delta x, suppose delta x, very small change in x, delta represents change, by how much will y increase? In the above case we have seen that. Okay, how much will y increase? Now let us say y will also increase by delta y. Now, as per our example that we had taken, what is this delta y? Delta y is the change in y. So how much is this delta y? So y is changing from y to y plus delta y, as x is changing from x to x plus delta x. Okay, these are the changes in the values. So in numerical example that we had taken, delta x was equal to 1, because it was increasing by 1. So y was increasing by 11 because from 25 it increased to 36. So that is why delta y there, as per our numerical example, was 11, isn't it? So y is equal to x square, y plus delta y is equal to x plus delta x whole square. So just taking it as a plus b whole square form. So x square plus delta x square plus 2x delta x, isn't it? Delta x can be taken as b, so a square plus b square plus 2ab. So we know that y is equal to x square. So what is the value of delta y now? Delta y is equal to delta x square plus 2x times of delta x, or 2x into delta x that we have written, isn't it? So we have that value. Now delta y is equal to delta x square plus 2x delta x. You can compare it to the example as well, numerical example. Delta y was 11 and we had delta x to be equal to 1. So you can see that example over there, 1 square plus 2 into 5 into, because 5 was the value of x, so we got 11. So similarly, y can be expressed in terms of x in many more ways, not just x square. Okay, it can be expressed as y is equal to x cube. You can take as y is equal to x to the power 5, not just even powers, odd, not just odd powers, even powers also, etc. So, and any change in the value of x will obviously change the value of y, as we have seen. But we want to know by how much will this value of y change. That is what we call as derivative. Okay, mathematical derivative that we are talking about. So in derivatives, we take a ratio of that change. We take delta y, that is the change in the value of y, over delta x, which tells us that if x changes by some value, how much is y changing with respect to that change in the value of x. Okay, so we define the derivative of y with respect to x as dy by dx. That is how we read it. Dy by dx, that is the derivative of y with respect to x, is equal to, we set a limit, delta x tends to 0, delta y by delta x. Now here we are taking the limit because we are limiting the change in the value of x, that is delta x we have taken. Delta x is taken to be very small, almost equal to 0. So this, for very small value or very small change in the value of x, how much is y changing, that is what we need to know. Okay, so that is how we deal with derivatives. So as found previously, you know, delta y we had obtained. Okay, we had obtained the value of delta y as delta x square plus 2x times of delta x, isn't it? So delta x at the bottom can just cancel out in that above expression. So we are left with delta x plus 2x. Delta x cancels out from x square, del square, and it also cancels out from 2x delta x. So now we put the value, okay, delta x tends to 0. So now we take the value of delta x to be 0 and we put it over there, and what we are left with is only 2x, right? So for y is equal to x square, we had dy by dx to be equal to how much? 2x. So we can give a general formula for this. Okay, what is that general formula? Now y is equal to x to the power n. Okay, instead of just 2, 3 or any number, so n can be any whole number. So dy by dx will be expressed as equal to n x to the power n minus 1, right? So excuse me. So dy by dx, as per the derivative formula, where we now have, instead of n we had 2 in the previous case, which is equal to 2x to the power 2 minus 1, which is equal to 1. So we had 2x. Okay, so how do we use, now coming back to the physics of it, how do we use these derivatives in kinematics? Okay, we define the instantaneous speed or velocity by using them. The instantaneous speed or velocity that we were to discuss, using them, what we were using the derivatives that we are talking about. So instantaneous speed or velocity can be defined as the speed or velocity possessed by an object at a particular instant of time, as I told earlier. Mathematically, I can write it as v instantaneous, suffix instantaneous. So v instantaneous will be equal to, okay, will be equal to ds by dt. what is this ds by dt? It is the derivative of displacement or distance that we are taking, that is s, or position we can also say, with respect to the time t. See, because the time is independent. Okay, excuse me. The time is independent, and it does not depend on anything. It just keeps on changing, isn't it? So the time is independent every time from physics point of view as we see it. But the position of an object which is moving, it depends on time. In some time it will be at some place, in some other time, because it is moving, it will be in some other place. So the position or the displacement or the distance covered by it always changes with respect to time. So that is why the distance or the displacement or the position of an object that is taken as s depends on the time. Okay, so ds by dt, just like the case we had written for dy by dx, where y was depending on x. Okay, if you remember correctly, just now I had told you. So like dy by dx we had taken, here we are taking instantaneous speed as ds by dt. Okay, it is always the dependent term is on the top and the independent term is at the bottom, so we take that ratio. Similarly, we can say instantaneous acceleration as well can be defined as the acceleration possessed by an object at a particular instant of time, where a instantaneous, a suffix in that I have written is a instantaneous, acceleration instantaneous, is the derivative of velocity or speed with respect to time, dv by dt. Okay, so this is how we deal with instantaneous speed or velocity or acceleration, right? So the we'll be we'll be discussing this with some example. Okay, it will help you in understanding this particular thing in a better way. So if I consider an example related to this, I can say that I have the position s is equal to, suppose, t to the power 4 meters, where t is the time. Okay, I want to calculate the instantaneous speed vin, okay, at t is equal to 5 seconds. So when time becomes 5 seconds, at that instant of time I want to calculate its instantaneous speed. So the position, relation of the position is given over there, that is t to the power 4, s is equal to t to the power 4. So vin is equal to ds by dt, which is equal to dt to the power 4 by dt, which is equal to 4t to the power 4 minus 1, using that formula nx to the power n minus 1. So instead of n I have 4 over here, so 4 minus 1 becomes 3, right? So the time, instantaneous time that I have to find out the speed, t is equal to 5 seconds. So I use 5 instead of t at the bottom over there, as you can see. 4 into cube of 5, cube of 5 is 125, and so because the distance is given in meters and the time in seconds, so the answer is in meters per second. So this is what we were to discuss, and we discussed it, that is instantaneous speed, velocity. We'll be doing some more problems related to the topic in the next video. It will be quite interesting for all of you. Till then, next time, thank you for your patience. Goodbye.